I'm not sure that I'm either confident or perhaps arrogant enough to be certain about what needs to be done. I think part of the reason why I really like the cities network, that sort of funding gaps model, is I think the first thing we need to be clear is I think there's work that cities need to do, and then there's work that can be done on the fiscal framework and perhaps at the national sphere. And I think that getting into a kind of cities talking about what national needs to do and national talking about what cities need to do is unhelpful. We need to talk about what everybody needs to do together here. I saw some of the ideas that Glenn posted, property rates policies. So I'm very interested in tariffing and tariff structures and how those are accommodated and what's been happening over time in terms of, this shift that Nicole spoke about of declining share of service charges in cities' own revenues with increasing property rates. I personally think that there can be a lot more leveraging of property rates. It's a very progressive tax when we compare it. So there was also a question on how does the bill land? Typically high-income households, a big chunk of the bill is the property rate, and service charges are quite a small chunk of the bill, whereas low-income households, a huge chunk of the bill is electricity typically. So an electricity tariff is quite regressive. In fact, it falls quite heavily on low-income households, whereas a property rate falls more on high-income households. So I think talking around balances between taxes and tariffs in municipalities is quite one interesting conversation to have, and possibly so that is around reviews of property rates and policies. Glenn's comment on reforming DOR allocations to kind of skew them a little bit more towards urban, that's such an ongoing debate about the urban versus rural agendas and priorities in South Africa. And cities do have substantially stronger revenue bases and other revenue raising powers. So maybe that is about deciding to what extent are we backing an urban agenda, which would mean sending more grants into cities, or to which extent are we still, trying to support rural municipalities with less revenue-raising powers? And I think that debate is ongoing. And then I'm not sure if Glenn's comment on a compact on service access. I want to be clear. Opposed to targeting free services. I do think free services should be targeted. I don't think there's any reason why I should be receiving a free service. I think it's about targeting those accurately. And I do think it's about a compact. I think it's about rebuilding a relationship of trust between citizens and local government. And a lot of that plays out in collection rates. A sense that we need to be targeting our subsidies accurately at the people who need them, and then making sure that we are collecting revenues from the people who do not need the subsidy and who should be paying. And to some extent, I like that idea that it is about a compact again between local government and between its citizenry around how we're going to make these finances sustainable.